To start off, we're going to do some quick info on different trends we're seeing in the industry. We'll talk a little bit about Marco Polo channels and this video first coaching concept. And then the heart of it is really going to be the panel of these experienced, coaches, entrepreneurs who are using video first in their business and seeing success with it, to talk about that and how they've been able to do it. And then at the end, we'll talk about, next steps, how you can connect with them to continue kind of this exploration into video first coaching. So why are we here today? Who am I? So for those who don't know, my name is Megan Allers. I am the head of customer success for Marco Polo and Marco Polo Channels. And I'm super passionate about building community. I was a former educator. I find that authentic connection is just so important and so meaningful. And being able to impact people, whether it's one-on-one, in small groups, in large groups, is just what I'm all about. And so I've actually been with Marco Polo for the past 5 years. And this past year and a half, getting to work on channels, getting to hear from so many coaches, entrepreneurs, business leaders on what's really meaningful to them in their business and how we can help them in greater connection has just been a true joy. For Marco Polo as a company, our brand is all about helping people feel close. We're trying to grow a community of leaders, coaches, and teachers. Because our brand is based on relationships, that's really important to us. And so we're looking to provide these educational opportunities on trends and learnings to really foster that community. And we hope that, anyone in the coaching space, whether or not you're a part of Marco Polo channels, can really benefit from the information and the community that we're curating. So I've got a few slides on channels here, and then we will jump in. So I know many of you are familiar with Marco Polo. Curious in the chat, are you on Marco Polo? Have you heard of it before? Have you heard of channels before? Let us know there. But so who we are. So Marco Polo was founded about 5 years ago from a husband and wife team who found that their family was spread all across the world, and they had their 2 daughters, and they really wanted a close family relationship. And so they started off with Marco Polo, which is, asynchronous video chat, as a way to make it easier to stay connected with friends and family that could be on their own time, that didn't have to deal with time zones and all of that sort of thing that goes along with being spread across the world. So Marco Polo has reached millions of people now, which is so amazing. And, leading support, we frequently got stories of people who are impacted by relationships with their friends and family through Marco Polo. But what we didn't expect was that the business leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs were also reaching out to us saying, hey, I love what Marco Polo is doing for my friends and family. I want to use this with my clients. I want to use this with my team. But to make it work and really be impactful, I need these different features to really work, that I can have the greatest impact. So, we knew with Marco Polo, authentic connection was key, that the asynchronous video, there was real power in that. That Marco Polo was easy to use and fit into people's lives, that, I was able to send a message when it was easy for me, and my friend or family member could get back when it was easy for them. We knew as a brand that, we wanted to build good for you technology. And that meant, no ads, no algorithm, that you come on there and you're not, looking at like counts or anything like that. You're just able to go in and truly connect. And so that's when we started looking at hey, there's a real need here. Let's build something. So fast forward, go back here a year and a half. Why launch channels? We believe that more tools for authentic communication make the world a better place. And if personal connection is important to your business as a coach, as a business leader, then we're a video first platform that helps you deliver on that mission, on that promise. So we would love for anyone with a passion of helping people to be able to make a living doing what they love. And we're already seeing success with it. And these leaders here today can certainly attest to that. So taking a look at channels, we've got, a great little GIF here of Michelle's channel, actually showing kind of what it looks like. So as I said, it's a video first coaching platform. The leader's content is truly elevated so that's front and center. There's no algorithm with it. It's chronologically posted that they're able to see the leader. Members are also able to reply back with video. So your members can truly be seen and be heard as they're connecting with you and connecting with each other, because there's definitely a community aspect, which we will talk about as well. So channels is kind of taking that asynchronous video that Marco Polo had and giving some more tools to the leader to really provide a safe space to be able to coach and mentor their members or clients. Ease of use, so it has asynchronous, so members can come in on their own time. They're able to come in, catch up on videos, watch content at their leisure. And again, that good for you technology. Leaders are center stage. They're not competing with ads or algorithms. So that is a little bit about channels, but I want to dive in now to some of the trends we're seeing in the industry. So consumer behavior is definitely evolving. And two trends we kind of want to highlight today, we're seeing these on like a macro scale. And certainly I'm sure that some of you may have seen these kind of happening as well, especially with things with COVID and now entering into kind of this post-COVID world. We're seeing some things that are definitely here to stay. So when we talk about the evolution of online coaching, I think it really started back with this in-person coaching, right? Which is highly impactful. You're getting to see people, their tone, the inflection, the body language, and really able to impact them, but not always super convenient, right? You're limited geographically, you're limited by time. So the reach that you have as a coach is limited. And so we see now a shift from, in person into on-demand courses, right? Now we can coach on a global scale. Our reach has dramatically increased, right? Which is super convenient. However, at what cost? Looking at some industry averages, that some research that was done, the completion rate for these on-demand courses is around 5 to 15%. 5 to 15%. And so for coaches who want to be highly impactful, who want to see that transformation of their members and truly care about that connection, on-demand courses are falling short in a way of accountability, of being able to have that back and forth and more personal connection. And so this is where we saw, especially during COVID as well, that people are getting more and more comfortable with video. We're on Zoom calls all the time. We want that convenience, right? And so we're seeing this move over into this idea of video first coaching that now brings together the best of in-person with the best of on-demand to make it highly convenient that people are able to come on their own time. They don't have to deal with scheduling, but that they're also able to have a large impact. They're able to interface with the leader. They're able to interface with other members and get that class-like experience all in one place. And so I think that, where leaders before were kind of doing more in-person stuff, I'm hearing just a trend that leaders are like, you know what, Megan, like, I don't know that I'll go back to in-person, or certainly not as much of it, because the reach I'm having and the impact I'm having with this idea of video first is definitely really working and something I want to continue doing, even though more stuff is opening up now in this post-COVID kind of world. And I think that that's because members are really enjoying the convenience of being able to do it on their own time. So curious if any of you relate to this. Let us know in the chat, or if you have, in-person courses that you've done or on-demand courses and you're seeing the same kind of trend. Would love to know. The next trend I want to talk about is this idea of the 100 true fan model. And this idea is that, there's been a theme of, I need to gain a lot of followers. I need to amass a large audience, and then I would monetize through selling ads, right? So large audience, small subset, and this idea that now consumers are powering a change, that they're ready to pay for really quality and personalized content. And so we're seeing this shift from, amassing a large following and going ads to, okay, now I have like donors and Patreon. Patreon had a huge movement of getting people to, provide a small amount or, a substantial amount to these content creators. And this passion economy, the idea that you as a coach, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, have a real skill and real value to provide, that if you can just get 100 true fans to pay, $1,000, right? That's truly meaningful income that you can go on and do what you love in coaching while making a substantial income in doing so. So we're really seeing this shift to members who are looking for that deep interaction with smaller communities of people. And more meaningful ways. They want that more personalization. And so today we're going to hear more about how this has impacted our leaders, which we're really excited about this change being based on that personal connection for sure. So I'm going to hand it over now. We're shifting. Here we go. We've got our speakers. I'm so excited to hear them chat. So today we're joined by Brittany, Michelle, Brendan, and Tracy. Thank you all for joining us today. And I'd love just to do like a little intro first. I know you've all found success with video first coaching, and we'll dive into that. But if we could just do a little bit like who are you, what kind of coach you are, how long you've been kind of in the industry. And I had to have a little like fun, like, what's the first trip you're taking in this post-COVID world? So Tracy, do you want to kick it off for us?
Yeah, you bet. So I'm super excited to be here because I am such a huge fan of channels. It has literally changed my business in so many ways that I could have never imagined. So I'm excited to be able to talk about that and share that with all these other coaches. I'm Tracy Fleshcourt. I'm the founder of Self-Made You. I have a lot of different programs where I help coaches, I help just everyday people learn how to self-coach so that they can get any result that they want in their life. Probably one of my most popular programs that I run through channels is a self-made mind and body program. So it's all things metabolic that help you lose weight from a mental, emotional, metabolic place. So and let's see, the first trip that I'm going to be going on actually starts tomorrow. My family and I are leaving for a country music festival. We love to camp and we love country music. So we're heading to Cadott, Wisconsin to go to Country Jam and see the likes of Dirk Bentley and Kane Brown and all those guys. So super, super excited.
Oh, I love that, Tracy. I'm a country music fan as
I
well.
know, I know.
All right. Thank you, Tracy. Brittany, give us an intro.
Hi there, I'm Brittany Stefanik, and I am the founder of Sleeper Teachers. We are a whole family sleep consulting agency. So, my team and I support families around the world in getting better sleep. I like to say that sleep is like my greatest hobby, and it has also become the greatest job in the world. And I have used channels for about 13 months, just celebrated my 1 year channels anniversary. I've been coaching for almost 4 years. And our first trip is actually in July. We're headed from rural desert Nevada to Rhode Island to go enjoy some seafood.
That will be a great trip, I'm sure. And how about Brendan Durrell?
What's going on, everybody? My name is Brendan Durrell. I'm coming through here as a traditional Tantra teacher, a mentor, speaker, and a writer. And I use channels mainly because it's super informal for me, but very informative. And I can teach from wherever I go. Like I'm living out of my suitcase 90% of the time, and I have been for the last 7 years. I've been in the online coaching space for about 7 years. So my work on channels has been a godsend, to say the least. So yeah, I use channels with a membership platform and also a value add for my online group programs.
That's awesome. And Brendan, where are you traveling to? You just got back from a big trip.
Yeah, I just got back from Ghana, from West Africa. I was in Kumasi, seeing the peoples. And this Friday, I'm heading to Costa Rica for a bit.
Love that. World traveler. And last but certainly not least, Michelle.
Hey, you guys, this is so fun. Oh my goodness, look at this group. We're like, we can take care of your thoughts. We can take care of your spirit. We're going to take care of your sleep. I love it. Okay. So my name is Michelle Gifford, and I'm a business coach and strategist. I help mostly moms who are trying to grow a business online while they're raising kids. I got 5 kids in the background. You might hear them. Actually, a couple more. I borrowed some today. So that is happening, and you can do it. And I like to empower and teach women that they can and show them exactly how they can do it in the most efficient way, right? And so I am using channels right now as part of my Moneymakers group. So it's a subscription program where I help build my community. We have core classes, master classes, and really about connecting and coaching people through the hard. It's hard to build a business. It's hard to build a business with kids. It's hard to build a business by yourself. And so my big mantra is that you don't have to do business alone. And so that's how I'm using channels right now. And it has been such a blessing to me and also my community. It's such a great way to connect. I want to go to the country music festival, so I might be coming with you tomorrow. But next week, I'm headed up to Utah. You just saw that little preview of me. That was me showing off my grandma's house that I got to buy last year I showed that off to my money makers in my channel. And I'm headed up next week to go and finish redecorating it. So
love that. Well, thank you all for your fun intros, and hopefully you've gotten to know our panelists a little bit better. Some amazing things that they're working on. And so I'd love to like dive in and just talk about, before this idea of video first coaching, which certainly we're gonna get into that. What were ways you were running your business? And I think, Tracy, I'd love to start with you because I know that you've definitely tried a few things, whether it's been like Facebook, and can you just talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, there's certainly been an evolution. I have done one-on-one coaching in person. I've done group coaching through Facebook. I've done, the paid and like freemium offers of coaching. And, it worked. It was kind of what was the springboard into what I have now. So I think it had its purpose for sure. But to your point, and because the whole reason why we're here is there actually has been a significant evolution, and there will continue to be. And so I recognize that, the one-on-one coaching that I was doing like in person, it lacked any sort of community. It lacked any sort of additional ideas that could be brought to the conversation that a lot of people have no idea is so valuable. And then what Facebook brought that actually kind of hindered the business was a whole lot of distractions. And I think that my clients, when they would come, there's something that kind of subconscious starts to happen when they come to get some sort of information and they either can't find it or they've been distracted. They remember that, that kind of goes into the psyche. And the next time they go, they're not going to be as motivated, as ambitious to go get what it is that they're looking for, because they're going to have that memory of being distracted and not getting the information that they wanted when they wanted it. So yeah, I knew that was absolutely my cue that I had to find something else, because that just was not working for me anymore. And I kind of know my strong suits too, right? I think as a lot of the other coaches on the panel, as well as the attendees, it's super important to know where your strengths are and then build from that. And I knew that video was the best way to connect. So that launched my search for the next best platform. And it happens to be channels.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Michelle, I know that you also kind of dabbled with like Facebook groups in the past. Can you talk to us about like the pros and cons of that?
Sure. Yeah. I actually had a membership community before channels, and I closed it down because I was so frustrated. I just didn't like what Tracy is saying, that if people are paying me for my attention and my trainings, I don't want to compete with everything else in the world, because that's what it is. Everything on their feed, it's all the ads, and they have to sift through a lot of things. And for me, I didn't like it as a consumer. I didn't like it when I was teaching, because I knew that we have all of these things that are bombarding us of all these messages. And when we come to learn, I want it to be like we're coming to learn. And so channels was such a big deal. I met Megan and she started telling me about it. And I thought, oh my goodness, I could actually do this coaching group. And so we were thinking to launch, and then the pandemic hit, and I thought, should I do it? And I had so many women reaching out to me, panicked about how they were going to go this business and still be at home and have their kids at home and all of the things. And so I launched Channels. And it just was that connecting piece that people were craving, right? Because of the pandemic. And it allowed it to be non-distracting and really helpful to people, and they could do it on their own terms. And also I felt like it's kind of the Wild West when you have this Facebook group and anyone can post anything at any time. And then you have to moderate that and control that, and then sift through all the messages. And are people really posting what they should? Are they commenting, And so I love the ability and the control we have, and also the protection we have through channels.
That's awesome. And I know, Brendan, I see you kind of nodding along as Michelle's talking. Curious for you, Brendan, like what you've seen kind of before you were using channels and how you were impacting your members.
Yeah, with me, I was globetrotting for sure. I was doing retreats, workshops internationally, and I was mainly doing one-on-one coaching. And I really didn't get into the group coaching space until last year. But with the one-on-one coaching, a reason why I stayed away from the group coaching was I was already, as Michelle mentioned, I was a consumer of Facebook groups. I was paying high ticket offers from people and they were giving us the Facebook groups. And it just wasn't cutting it for me. There were times when I would make agreement I'm not going to go on social media for several months. And then I would invest in a program saying, well, our group is in Facebook. And I'm like, here we go again. So I kind of stayed away from the group coaching. And now with channels, it made it so easy for me to, I run a cacao ceremony program called Nectar of the Gods. And it's a value add for my program. So instead of using the Facebook group, I have everybody on channels with me and I get to post. And my favorite part is that nobody can hide because it is audio, it is video. And for me, that's a big part of what I teach. It's I want to see you and I want people to see you as well and hear you. So that builds the safety. And I feel Marco Polo Channels really holds that intimacy really well.
Thank you for sharing that, Brendan. And, you know, we've dabbled too in like the idea that people have done group coaching before, or this idea of going one-on-one and taking it to groups. And like, Brittany, I would love for you to speak to that. I know that you were mainly doing a lot of one-on-ones before. What has that kind of change been like for you?
Yeah, so as a sleep coach, much of what I was doing before channels was one-on-one. And similar to Michelle, my timeline was right around the COVID shutdown. And what I realized, primarily using Instagram as my primary platform prior to channels, was that I was getting so many messages from moms, specifically moms with newborns born during COVID, and they were all saying the same thing, which is like, I don't have a breastfeeding class anymore. There's no mommy and me yoga. There's no chance for me to connect with anyone. What do I do? And their questions were about sleep, but also about this connection. So I was able to launch a newborn group. Again, like Brendan was saying, with the video, with the audio, with the connection, to really help connect them, not only to me and my expertise, but most importantly, in this case, to each other. And so I found that the one-on-one is great. I have a lot to share and a lot of knowledge to impart, but what they can learn from each other takes the group to a whole different level that you just don't get with one-on-one.
Yeah, and that's that community piece, which is so huge. And you know, when we're thinking about that, you know, all of you are you have different programs, you have different offerings. You know, I'm curious, like, what are you hearing from clients or prospective clients about what they're really looking for now in a program? I'd love to like open that up if anyone wants to pop in.
Yeah, after a client finishes a program, I always do either some sort of like, what's next for you? What's this next chapter, the next lesson that most of my clients are lifelong learners. So, there's something else and we help them find what that something else is. And I always want to understand what was their experience like, what we could do better. And I always get a resounding, you have cracked the code on being accessible. They feel like they have so much access to me because they see me every single day in the channel delivering content, even if the content is like in the can, it was maybe produced weeks ago. And when I say produce, I mean like on my iPhone with video, maybe a little bit of some sort of filter, maybe. But they still feel that connection. You see that, you hear the tone inflection, you see the eye, you make eye connection. But yet that is available on demand. That's available at their convenience. And so I get a lot of my clients because, weight loss, understanding from a metabolic standpoint, it's so steeped in science. And there's, it's a new way of thinking to lose weight. And I get my clients saying, I wish I had you on my shoulder, like to help me make these decisions, help me think. And you know, when they have an app that's on their phone that is literally in their back pocket or in their purse, it literally is like the next best thing. So you can really build that connection just by taking advantage of what Channels offers. You know, you can add on a live component to that if you need to, but man, it really is hitting on what everybody wants. They want a uninterrupted, a very focused way of getting the information, just the information that they need right now. They want it at their convenience, and they want to feel like they have access to the coach. And you've hit it. You know, that is what Marco Polo Channels offers. And I hear that from my clients. Like, I see it through the eyes of a coach for sure. But when you hear it from your clients, it's like, okay, you know that, you know, this is what the market needs right now.
Are any of the other panelists seeing those types of trends or even different trends as well?
I think there's something to the aspect of like the community that we're building is it's not only about me. Like I always am like, hey, listen, this is about you and being able to interact. And I did a survey of my moneymakers just last week, and part of it I said, you know, have you made new friends? Have you made new business friends? Have you collaborated? And it's almost every single one of the people in there has done that. And so not only I mean, I'm great, but it's not all about me, you know? And so I think that Channels allows you to build those relationships because it feels like you're on Marco Polo, right? But you're with your people. And like I say, listen, like this group gets what you're going through, you know, like our people are also like usually moms or they're growing their business. And so like we can celebrate together because we get it, right? We can be sad and we can work through hard things because we all get it. And I think the video component really helps with Channels is to allow that real relationship building to happen.
That's great. And Brendan, I know community has been a big piece of your program before Channels and now on Channels. What have you seen or heard from your members?
Safety is the number one thing. They feel safe in the app. And in the cultivation, I feel um, just because it's video and voice notes, since nobody can hide, people get to feel each other on another level. It's not just somebody hiding behind a keyboard, not that tending to hide, but they're just typing a post. I'm a firm believer in somatic healing. So when if I can hear you talk and see what you're saying and how you sound, it's instantly going to cause for a greater connection. And that's what this is about. And I know for a lot of you who are listening to this who are coaches and you're getting people together on social media. For me, I haven't ran any ads or anything yet on social media. I pretty much just post authentically the same way I do in my Instagram stories. That's pretty much the way I run my channels. Because now the way I see it is that there's a lot of stuff happening in our world right now. So people are really desiring authentic connection. And for me, it's like there's no staging process. I don't make sure the walls look neat and this and that. I just pick up and go. And people want to see the humanness in me. And also in my leadership style, I need people to also know that I'm human as well, that don't put me on a pedestal. So I feel just the whole platform offers that humanity to me.
That's awesome. Brittany, can you dive in a little bit to just like, what does Channels look like for you and how do you kind of use it in your business?
Yeah. So I have many channels going at really any given time. And I think one of the things that I have liked most about it is that I'm not at a place right now in my life or in my business where I have any desire to like preset modules. I don't have the time to sit down and pre-record. I don't have production. I have a 4-year-old son who isn't in preschool at the moment. Like there's just a lot of life stuff that has led me to sort of being in this place of quick inspired action. And so for me, what I love about channels is I can literally on a Monday have an idea for a channel. And by Wednesday, I can be offering it and opening it up to my community of exhausted families who are ready for better sleep, because I'm not having to pre-record. I'm not having to create these modules with these workbooks with all of this like heavy lifting on the front end. I'm like Brendan, I'm just like coming in hot, glasses, mom bun, right after a workout, kid in the background, whatever it is, that is me, and that is my my vulnerability and the way that I coach. And so the great thing is that literally I could open it up right now. I think I have 6 active channels at the moment because someone has a need for newborn support. I pull a few of them together and I launch a newborn class. And that's like a 6-week, there's a start date, there's an end date. I have topics that I talk through. Then, there are also options of like add-ons after we've worked together. Then you can have more of like a graduate support where it's a little bit less hands-on, a little bit more maintenance focused. But I think the biggest thing of all, Megan, and I know you can speak to this probably better than anyone, you can make quick choices. You can just decide and you can move forward. And I've really never felt like my ideas were tied back by any sort of action moving forward, which has been so fun.
Yes, I love that. And on the flip side, like there is this like, you can get on there and kind of share your content, but I love like Tracy, if you could touch on how you've kind of run the same program. I think it's 7 or 8 times now. Like, can you talk about how Channels is like a complement to your higher ticket course?
Yeah. It complements it beautifully, because one thing I wanted to add on to what Brendan and Brittany were saying is, it allows you to be authentic. Your clients get to see you in all transparency, which is such another great trust building tool. But I will also say one of the trends is that people want simple, and Channels really has a very intuitive, user-friendly, simple like application. And it really keeps you as the coach like thinking with boundaries. And it actually forces you to develop simple. And I don't know about any other coach on here, but I will say I am so guilty of like wanting to provide value ahead of time. And somewhere in the translation of all of that means let's just keep compounding more and more and more. And it gets so complicated. And so one of the trends that I see are my clients going, whoa, way too much information. I just need this, right? And so I love the fact that I found the platform that keeps me in that lane of simple, because that's what the clients want. So I think the clients want it. We as coaches want it, but I don't know what it is. We like run against that part of our brain and, go in the opposite direction. So I created a way for me to like keep this efficient and simple. I record all of my lessons. So it's evolved into now a 10-week intensive. And, I've got all the 10 weeks laid out every single day. They hear from me just what it is that they need to know that day. And so it's recorded. I keep an archive of it, like in a YouTube channel. And I just take that, I tee it up and say, good morning. And, do all the things and let them know that I'm actually really here, alive, breathing, and then give them that content, because I know how effective it is. Our clients get crazy good results. So why would I ever want to change the content? I want to keep it simple, effective, and efficient. So, you can go that way. I love Brittany's like in the moment spontaneity. And I do that sometimes. That sometimes is like a little bit of an add-on, but I stay pretty regimented with very canned, effective lessons that are, they're brief, but they work. It's just what they need when they need it. And that's what clients want.
On that. And it reminds me, Michelle, of, your channel that has evolved over the years, and you've continued to grow on this membership, your monthly membership. And I'm curious, Michelle, we've talked so many lessons that you have, but when was like the aha moment for you that you're like, you know what, like this idea of video coaching is really working, and I'm seeing the impact on my members?
I think it really happened when I saw the connection that people were having in the group. And there's something really magical about the connection they feel to you as a channel leader, because it's so personal. And I think that when I think, we have Instagram and we have all the social media where we're trying to build this connection, and we do, but it can only get to some point, right? And then it doesn't feel that personal anymore. It feels like everyone's trying to figure out the algorithm, or, the posting and all the things. And then I just realized when I had this core group of people who were not only listening to and putting into action what I was, coaching them to do, but they were also building each other up and building that community together. So yes, you get this value add by being with me and I'm there every day, but also you just naturally now have this whole cheerleading squad who's like, yes, right? And so that was a really big moment when I realized that that's what I was building. Yes, it was about teaching, but it was even more than that. It was about building these relationships with each other. And it never got to that point in Facebook. I'm frankly, I tried for more than 1 year doing it, before channels for a couple years, and it just wasn't the same. And I think it comes down to the personal connection. I know someone asked what's the difference between Marco Polo and channels? It's that I'm in charge of the content. And as a leader, I get to say, this is what we're talking about. And then people reply to that message that I put out there. And that's a big deal, to have that kind of control, and not in that I want to control everything, but you do need to lead and guide your community where you want them to go. And channels makes it really easy to do that.
Yeah, I love that. Any other kind of aha moments from other panelists in your time doing video first?
I just wanted to add that one aspect of my one-on-one coaching has always been Voxer. Well, I say has always, for 3 years. So most of my coaching has been through Voxer, which, if you're not familiar, there's walkie-talkie and texting capability. And there's just something to be said about being on video and being seen. Not every time is every one of my groups on video. They can, turn off their video and, like Brendan said, just be on voice. But there's just something to be said about that connection through the video that we weren't getting when we were using the walkie-talkie and voice capability of other places.
Yeah, one more thing that I think I would add is how this tool can be really useful in a lot of unique type arenas. I mean, look at all of us. We are so diverse in our offering. One of my goals, I love having the connection with my clients, but I have big, huge dreams of reaching international. I want to scale and grow. And so I want to build a self-sustaining business, so, Brittany right now is in the moment, she's in that chapter of her life, or that season of her life where she's, focused on business and kids. And my kids are have flown the coop and they're out of the nest. And now I'm really focused on business, and I want to create a self-sustaining business. And this is a great tool for that. So it really does serve a lot of needs of really unique, coaches, and the legacies that we want to build.
Love that. Brendan, anything to add around the aha moment? I know, as we talk about what's the leader to member kind of exchange, and Michelle kind of mentioned that, it really is leader driven. And I know in your channel, you do such a good job of leading the conversation and getting that Q&A, one-on-one kind of access to you with the group coaching. Can you talk just a little about that?
Yeah, so since I'm running 2 separate channels, the one monthly membership, and I call that, it's like a slow drip, slow burn type of learning, because I'm aware that there's a lot of people who want to take my offerings, my programs, but they just don't have the time, whether it be mothers or a man's running a couple jobs, whatever it might be. People are exhausted. So I was like, all right, let me create this space where you can just come in, and if you know that analogy, low hanging fruit, but let's picture we walk in and there's just a tree with all your favorite fruits on it, mangoes, apples, plums, everything. And you're coming in to get all of these fruits. And you're thinking you're going to come in to pick everything. You have your basket and everything. And then you get there and you realize, well, I just had this juicy mango. I'm going to sit with this for a little bit. I don't feel the need to rush to the next fruit. I'm going to be with this. And I wanted to set it up this way where nobody has to rush. There's no end date. There's no start date. It's just, you can just revisit content whenever you like. And then with my add-on to my course, it's there's Channels has this amazing Q&A feature. Like it's a little question icon, and you can ask a question directly to me. And I have that for my clients who pay more to work with me because they get more access to me. But in the membership, that feature is turned off. And when I do a Q&A, it's in a public format. So you have to ask your question publicly if you need support with something. So I kind of mix and match based on my needs in regards to it. But what I love about it the most is that it's just so moldable to your experience, your unique experience as a leader, as a coach.
Love that. And I know there were some questions about the Q&A and how that works. So thanks for touching on that, Brendan. There is the option for like the one-on-one Q&A where the member can reach out directly to the leader and have that kind of private access. And we definitely find that leaders who have that turned on for their channel are demanding a more premium price for the channel for that access. There is the group Q&A, which Michelle, I think everyone here has done like a Q&A day at some point, but Michelle, do you just want to talk about how, does it become overwhelming to do all the Q&As and how you kind of monitor that? Michelle's channel, for some background, is over 125. Are we up to 150 yet? So it's fairly large, but.
As part of my program, we do like a Zoom, like live Q&A. So we do that. And in the past, I have done like Q&As where I just say, hey, get your questions in today. We need it in by 7 p.m. And then I go through all of the videos and answer the questions. So just to have the thing that I've tried to do is to have a specific date and a specific time when these questions are happening, because it can get too overwhelming if I have to feel like I have to listen to every single video to get every single question answered. And so to have that a specific time when they know they can ask, the great thing about Channels is that you get to change it as you want it to, and so, I did that survey, like I said, and I had a few people say, hey, we have questions like sporadically through the week. Is there a way you could just have like a question post every week and we can add questions to it? So we're trying that out and seeing if that's something that really works for my audience or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, that's fine. And that's what I really like about Channels, is that you can do that, right? I can say, okay, this didn't work or this did work. But as far as like the Q&A is to have a specific time and a specific place to ask those questions has been a big deal. Something else I've done is I have group Q&As because I'm not the only one with answers. And so if they can pose a question and get responses from each other.
Yeah, and one thing I'll note is the responses on Channels for members are limited to 1 minute in length. So like that's a piece like Michelle, when Michelle grew her channel, it was like, how am I going to get through all these comments? And it was like, Michelle set the stage of like, hey, you get one 1 minute video. So time frame there, which is great for coaches. And that's a big difference from Marco Polo, where it can just go on and on and on. And it's like, oh gosh, how do I reel that back in? Before we open it up to the questions, which I definitely want to get, there's a lot of going on in the chat, which is so great. So keep adding in those questions as they're coming up for you. Any advice for people considering adding video first coaching to their business? Like if you've got like one line of advice, what would it be? We'd love to hear from all of our panelists on that. Who wants to kick it off?
It kind of occurred to me last night. I was sitting talking to a girlfriend about finding recipes. We're always giving recipes to our clients. And she said, you can't even go to Pinterest anymore to get a recipe because it's so diluted with advertising. And I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, it's not my go-to anymore. Now I kind of have my favorite, curators, and I'll either go to their website or I go back to the cookbook. And so we're today talking about the evolution of online coaching. And I will say, as a cautionary tale, you guys, if you don't figure out how to keep your content from getting diluted and keeping your clients from getting distracted, it's going to be the reverse. It's going to be the de-evolution, the devolution is what it's called. It's the backwards movement. And you can see it happening right now in real time with some of these platforms. So just a piece of advice is, look around, see what's going on, and then like observe what are the tools out there that are going to best serve your mission.
Awesome. Great piece. Who's up next?
I would say that you don't have to have a perfect program to get started. Mine has completely changed since a year and a half ago. And the reason why is I thought I knew my audience and I did well enough to like launch a channel. But the more that I have gotten to know my people and also gotten to know like my coaching style and especially my coaching style around channels has everything's changed, and that's awesome. And if you don't change, like she was saying, right, bad things happen. So is that you can launch now and build that perfect coaching program for yourself.
Super helpful. Brittany?
Mine's sort of on track with these, but just try it. Like, what if it is the answer to your Facebook group issues or to your scalability? Marco Polo Channels makes it super, super easy to set up and get started and give it a shot. And then you can always tweak, you can always change, it can always transform. You can pivot even within the app, but just try it.
All right, let this land. You don't need all of the bells and whistles to support people. I was caught in that story for like 2 years, that I needed to have this much money to be able to buy this, to be able to do this, to do that. All I have is my iPhone and just some good data, no matter where I'm traveling, and I get to upload and work from that space. So don't get caught up in all of like, it needs to look this way. It doesn't. People are committing to you for who you are, not for how you look around how you do it. So really keep that in mind. It's like, it's you, like they're showing up for you. And like, for me, it was one of the most humbling things when people, I didn't run any ads and I just posted it, one post on Instagram and then in my stories, and I have about close to 80 people in there, just off the bat. So I was like, wow, people actually trust what I'm sharing. So without the bells and whistles, you can do this. Just take it, take the chance.
Great advice there. Really, really good. So opening it up for some Q&A, I know there's a lot of questions coming in about like, is there going to be a demo of channels, or how can we connect with, the panelists here and their channels and what they're doing? So we're not doing a demo today. We really just wanted to focus on this idea of the evolution and talk kind of big picture. But as far as, there will be a follow-up email that we'll send out with the recording of this, as well as a link to our channel advisor page. So you'll be able to see each of our panelists here, be able to connect with them through their websites, through their socials, but also see their different offerings. I know many of you have open channels to the public that you can like sign up and join right away. So you'll get access to them. And we'll also provide, I'm doing a demo on Monday. So if you want to come back with me, I can dive into like your specific coaching and what you're doing. And, I really think that is something that's just been so personally meaningful to me, is that we do work very closely with our channel leaders. We're here to support you. I have a Marco Polo group with every one of these individuals and more, talking through like best practices, what we're seeing. We are only a year and a half in on this. And as kind of we've alluded to, like it's evolving, it's changing. Like the features we've added over the past year comes from the feedback from this group and the rest of our channel subscribers as well. And we want to continue improving and making it better and better. So it's a big piece of it too. All right, let's pull up some other questions here. So we're saying, I'd love to hear more examples of how many people are in one of their channels, what types of content they're sharing, how often, etc. Anyone want to take that to start?
My channels really vary in size based on the community, but I just opened up a channel that started last Wednesday, and it has 45 people in it. And this is the 10-week intensive course of Self-Made Mind and Body. And yeah, it keeps me on my toes because there's a component of it that's live if people choose to show up at the live lesson. And that's their opportunity to actually ask questions and get their answer real time. but that live lesson is recorded and within minutes it's put into their channel. So again, if that person can't be there live, they have it in their back pocket, in their purse, super accessible. So I also have a mentoring program. So I've opened up a channel for that where I teach people how to teach what they've just learned. So they have this opportunity to take their education to a deeper level. And then I have free channels too. So, and those are like, I've just launched that one, and that one's starting to like get some momentum. So yeah, it's, I think I would say you have to be strategic, not unlike any other offer you have, whether it's paid or free. You have to be strategic in knowing your audience and making that offer. So yeah, I mean, we're learning, and this is still, I think it's still in its infancy, which I'm super excited about, because I can't wait to see what channels looks like in a year from now. But yeah, so I have everything from, I'm not quite at Michelle's numbers yet. I think my biggest channel is like at 45 right now, down to about a dozen.
Awesome. We're getting some questions on how the panelists marketed their channels, and I'd love Michelle or Brendan, if you can give some tips. I know you've both done a lot on social and email lists and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. I definitely I launched this channel, right? And so if this is a new offering for me, what I did is I launched it like I would any other product, which meant we're going to do lives about it. We're going to talk about it on Instagram. I'm going to show, because channel's a new thing, right? So when I say I'm on channels, no one knows what that means yet. Anyway, so it's important for, this isn't, because it's new, you have to let people, I'm holding my phone like I'm showing you. Anyway, you have to like let people in to see what, so that they know what they're going to experience, because new things are scary, period. So and so that was one of the things I did, is on my stories, as I walked through all of like what it actually looked like on channels when you come in. And I got a lot of testimonials from people who had already been using channels and what they liked about it. So they knew that it, was very beneficial to them. I used to have, like, for a long time of my marketing, you could just join at any time. And then I've been doing some like actual, like, you have to buy now to get in for the next 3 months. And then it's a closed cart. So I've done both of those things. The closed cart has worked the best for me. But yeah, it's all about, you got to market it out there. I have that sales page, the email sales emails that get people to buy. Okay. What about you, Brendan? I want to know.
Oh, I'm not, you're amazing at doing the reels and everything. Like, you have me laughing the way you do it. For me, I just speak about it authentically as you do, share about it. I do put in a sense of urgency. That's a thing, because like, even for myself, if there's no sense of urgency, am I gonna really get it done right away? Probably not. And this is just me being a consumer before a leader. So I put that on there. And in regards to how my channel's set up, well, my membership, primarily, it's I have people who are in there for certain reasons, as was mentioned in here. So I have people who pay the monthly fee, and they just show up just for the Q&As only. Like, they don't interact with anybody, they don't do anything, but they show up to have access to me. And then I have other people who are there just for the community aspect, to meet somebody from Minnesota, meet somebody from Finland, meet somebody from Australia. Like, people love that as well. And my promise, I made my agreements from the first day, and I sticking true to that. That's you make your agreements in the beginning about what they can expect from you. And for me, it's I do one live breathwork session, tantric breathwork session a month on Zoom. And I also have one guest speaker a month. So I'm running like live workshops. So last month I had a human design workshop. This month I'm having a Gene Keys workshop. So every month they're getting a taste of somebody else in addition to somatic work with me. So how you structure your content is all up to you. For me, like, I have such cool friends, like, in many different areas and industries, and I want people who trust me to also trust what they share. So the sky's the limit for sure.
Yeah, and I love Brendan does a really great job of sharing like the peek into his channel on his stories. So like that's a big thing. If you check out his Instagram there, he has like a whole highlight of like what it actually looked like. I know Michelle, you've done that as well, of like, hey, like it's video first, like it's chronological based, like you don't have to have that FOMO of like, I lost the post or I can't find it. You open it up and it's right there. Anything like that, so powerful. And I'd also say like all of the leaders here have done a really great job of encouraging their members, if they're having a good experience, to like let them know, and then using those as like referrals. Like I feel like the other day I was like, Brendan, I'm seeing all your members posting on stories about you. Like, what did you do? And he's like, I just asked them to share, right? Like it was something like that, which is really cool. So
Yeah, can I add something to that,
yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
Yeah, so with that, I do the screen shares and I put it in there. And let's say, for instance, I speak often about Tantra on my Instagram. So in my channel, I'll have like a title that says, how Tantra connected me with my ancestors. And people will see that in my screen share and they want to hear more about Tantra. And I'm not going to share more of that on social media. So you got to sign up through my channel to get it. So you have to be strategic in that way as well. And the reason why, again, that I started channels was because I was getting an influx of messages and questions and all these things. And I was like, I want to serve. I want to show up for everybody. However, I just can't do it on Instagram. So here's the buy-in.
Yeah, that's really great. One question that's coming in, other than the financial aspect of things being taken care of by the platform, what is the advantage of channels over groups, which already is Marco Polo? So big difference between like, could you do what you're doing on Marco Polo? And what's the big difference between Marco Polo and Marco Polo channels?
I think the leader first, so like the videos, our videos as the coaches, as the leaders of the group are showing kind of highlighted. And I think the other big thing is the brevity that comes from the 1 minute reply limit. Those would be my first two that come to mind.
Yeah, and I'd say the ability to have an element of like being able to curate. Like you can really kind of format the way you want that to look. You can organize things the way you want it, you know, how it could make sense to your clientele. Where, you know, in Marco Polo, it's a thread, you know, and you can organize this to be a really easy way to find what it is that they're looking for. And I love that.
Yeah, I'm also in the process of building a team. And what I really love about channels as well is that you have the option to, let's say you have a business partner who's so awesome and you want them to be a part of the content curation of your channel. You can make them an admin so they can post videos and content in your channel just as you would. So it's not you're not carrying all of the weight and all the load on yourself. So what I'm doing in the future, it's I have my live sessions with my cool friends, but then also it's, let's say I have a brother who wants to come in and do a teaching. So I'll give him access as an admin as well. And he can come in and just do a post, upload it from wherever he's at. And then my people get that.
That's awesome. One thing, so another question coming in, does Marco Polo offer coaching on what to use it for and expanding your business on using channels? Yeah, so we've got a lot of different things going on. I think, you know, the big one with the pro plan is we do offer that VIP support. So you're in a group with me and Tira and Shelly, the Marco Polo support team. Yeah. And so you can polo us with like questions and brainstorming. We also have monthly channel chats where we bring together our leaders. We talk about different themes. This past month, we talked about pricing. We've gone deep dives into Michelle and Brittany and Tracy's channels on how they're doing it, whether it be like a value added program or a straight like monthly subscription or even like course on channels. So we definitely have a lot of resources available. And we do send out that email with more details on like the demo for channels if you want to get involved, or also checking out any of the panelists. We have use cases on all of them and how they're specifically using channels as well. So you can get some more ideas there. Anything to add on that, anyone?
You know, one more thing that I think maybe just kind of got glossed over is how you can really use channels as kind of a one-stop shop. You know, if you, you know, you could market it through, you know, you build out the channel and then you've got the link to your channel. You can have sign up, you can have payment collected, this, you know, a membership or a subscription through channels. And I know as a coach who's been doing this for a number of years, like I pay and manage PayPal, and then I pay and manage a membership platform through Kajabi, and I pay and manage my lead pages. I mean, good Lord. And now here comes channels where I actually, if you really wanted to, you could like have this one-stop shop and really simplify things. So I love to think about it in that way too. Just a real nice, user-friendly, convenient, simple tool.
Love that. Well, I think we're at time here. This has been just such a great conversation. For those of you going off in the chat, I hope you've got some good takeaways or things to consider with this, and join our movement. We're still so early on with this. These are just a short snippet of some of our channel leaders, but as I mentioned, you will get an email from us. We do have a VIP offer for those of you who would want to sign on to learn more about channels. We'll share more with our channel advisors. I don't know, everyone, do you just want to put like a way they can connect with you as well in the chat if anyone is interested there, or we can come off mute, just how people can connect with you or learn more?
You can find me at selfmadeyou.com. That's my website, and I'll drop in the chat my free channel, so you can check that out too.
Yay.
Yeah, I just put my Instagram. Come find me on Instagram. I'm fun. It's just at I am Michelle Gifford.
As Brendan mentioned, Michelle's really great at the reels.
Yeah, I just dropped my Instagram in there as well. One of my love languages and second language is memes. So you'll come there and connect with me on there.
Brittany?
Yep, I popped mine in the chat also. It's at Sleeper Teachers on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. As you said, be on the lookout for that email. And yeah, we're really excited for the evolution of online coaching and to see where it goes from here. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.